pathways. And there really wasn't a lot there. In fact, there's a lot of controversy about what should be used, and whenever you're putting the administration in a position where they have to decide for the child, it's obviously a very contentious criteria that they use to select. And I started asking the question, do we really believe our parents are not capable of making an informed decision? And let's face it, we have very well-educated parents in our region. With the risk of offending some people in Issaquah, I believe the students here in Snoqualmie Valley are just as capable. I think the teachers here are just as effective. There's really no reason that Snoqualmie Valley students shouldn't have the same opportunity to self-select. We adopted this policy of informed self-selection, and we were very deliberate about the process. We surveyed a lot of our district. One of the shocking things we found out right at the bat is that 1 in 5 kids in middle school or high school was going outside for professional tutoring in math. And we started to ask, well, why is that? 20% of our kids, and it wasn't because, some were trying to catch up, but most of them were trying to get ahead. And they were looking for an opportunity to get a jump on the competition, because a lot of these kids were shooting for very competitive schools. And let's face it, it's very difficult to get into higher ed these days, even with the high tuitions. So we asked teachers as well. A lot of teachers were resistant, frankly. They were concerned about how disruptive it would be to scheduling, and I think they have a legitimate point there, as how disruptive it would be to the class if they had a broader spectrum of student knowledge level to address. And I think they were both legitimate concerns. Ultimately, when we rolled out the system, though, it turned out not to manifest as a big issue. I think one of the reasons it succeeded is because we were very clear with parents and students that they could not just give this a shot for a few weeks and then back out, right? If you were in for the semester. And it might mean you're not going to get an A. You might end up with a B or a C. And you had to take that chance. That was part of the risk of advancing yourself to this level of course. But we tried to make it an informed decision. All the checklist items you had up there, we had the same checklist. It's just instead of being a criteria for whether you're selected or not, it's to inform your selection. And so we give you sample exams. We look at all these different aspects, all these recommended criteria that you met in past tests. Back then we had the MSP instead of the Smarter Balance Assessment, but it was basically the same thing. We're trying to give parents as much information as they can to make an informed decision, and then we trust them to make that decision for their child. And it has worked pretty well. Actually, by the time we implemented the program, 1 in 4 students were actually going for outside math tutoring. I think there's still quite a bit of competition to get those advanced courses. It was also a scheduling challenge for the high school, because we have 3 high schools in the Issaquah School District. One's on a modified 8-period schedule, and the other 2 are 6-period schedules. The 6-period schedules were very squeezed, and it's especially true now that we've gone to 24 credits. We wanted to try to get as much math done in middle school as possible to open up opportunities to take additional electives in high school. So the result was it's worked out beautifully. It's actually taken a lot of pressure off our schools that are on a 6-period day. As for my son, he went on to, I actually got him self-selected into advanced math course. He went on to MIT. He has a perfect 5.0 GPA right now at MIT. I don't think he would have had that opportunity if it weren't for self-select, because he had the chance to take AP Statistics, Calculus AB, Calculus BC, and all the science curriculum that was dependent on having advanced math skills at that level. So I really think it is a great opportunity for many children who are trying to shoot a little higher. The other thing I wanted to point out is that pyramid slide that you saw out there was totally not how we think of how we're aiming our kids. We think of it more of as a normal curve. And we wanted the center of our normal curve to be at that middle program, not the lowest program. Now we're going to have some kids who are trailing their outliers here, some trailing here, but we wanted the majority of kids to be a year ahead in math so that they would have these elective opportunities in high school. So thank you for your time. I'd be happy to answer any questions after. Thanks.